Good afternoon, friends. It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm. I hope you are doing well. Today, we're going to be talking about starting seeds for the fall garden. So it's the beginning of August, and it is 96 degrees Fahrenheit today. Very hot. And so I'm not really thinking about fall vegetables, but I need to be. Now is when I need to be starting to sow them. So depending on what zone you're in and when your first frost is, now might be the time for you as well. So the way to figure out when you can plant some fall vegetables is to find out when your first frost is, average first frost. Mine is listed as December 25th, but it's always in November. So I use the middle of November roughly, and I count backwards from that. And then you're going to take whatever seed packet you're interested in starting to sow with. Like for instance, this cauliflower Snowball Y. Now it has a 70 to 80 day seed to harvest window. It is frost tolerant. It can sit out in frost. That's not a problem. But what I want to keep in mind is, when do I want my harvest? And then you count back. You got 70 to 80 days here. Now, sowing for fall is a little different from sowing in the spring, because in the spring, the days are getting longer, but in the fall, the days are getting shorter. So you can have less hours of sunlight. And so regardless of the temperatures, less sunlight means slower growth. So you want to add, I usually give myself about 10 to 15 days buffer on that. So if it says maturity 70 to 80 days, I might go to 80 and say maybe it'll be 90 days. And then I can count backwards on that. So with all of that in mind, and then there's also things you can use calculators online to help you with. I've been using Seed Time. They have a free version as well to plan out both my garden and the flower farm. This set of seeds for the next, I don't know, it's like 6 weeks that I'll be planting or sowing. I set up in Seed Time, and it's staggered so that I have some things going in starting now and some things starting in a couple weeks, and then they'll be put out in the garden in staggered steps, mostly because I'm still harvesting things from the garden, right? There's still tomatoes out there, there's squashes, there's beans, all that stuff is still out there. So as those beds clear, I'll have things to pop in. Now, last year, I started a fall garden from seed. All the seedlings were looking amazing. I put them in, and the next morning I woke up and they were all gone. We had a major rat problem. There's still plenty of rodents out there, but it was so bad. They ate everything down to little stubs. So I went and bought starts, because at that point, I think it was like late September, early October. So I went and bought starts at the nursery and planted those. Same thing. Next day, everything was gone. So I had no fall garden last year, or really a winter garden. The only thing that survived was the mustard, because nothing likes to eat mustard. So I will be planting plenty of that out there. But I'm going to try it again this year. And so instead of just starting the amount of things that I know I'll need, I'm going to sow extra so that if things start getting picked off, I can pop in a new one in its place. All right, so I'm going to share with you, I keep looking down because I have my seeds here in a box. This is just how I do my organization. So once I've planned them either in a spreadsheet or in this case on Seed Time, then I list it per week. And I put all the seeds that I'm going to sow that week behind there, so I can just grab that section, that little packet of seeds, and go out to the greenhouse to do it. The reason we're not filming in the greenhouse right now is that it's over 100 degrees in there. It's about 125, very hot. So we are filming in the garage. It's warm out here, but nothing like that. Okay. So week 31 is actually this week. So I have a handful of things, actually quite a few things that I'm going to sow this week, and I'll show you. So this first one is a broccoli. I love brassicas, but I have not had any luck growing them, mostly because they get eaten before they can really produce anything. So I don't know. I'm going to keep trying. We'll see. This is Waltham 29. Broccoli. This one has 4 to 6 inch blue-green heads, and it grows really prolific side shoots. So that's important because it actually helps me with some of the pest control issues. because sometimes if they take one of the heads, I can save the others. Okay, and then I also have some Brussels sprouts. This is Long Island Improved. Now I am sowing other broccolis, but they are spaced out over the next couple of weeks. All right, and then we have cabbage red acre. Love red cabbage. And then I have, this one does not have a picture, but this is Johnny's seed of cauliflower Purple Moon F1. And then I have the one that I just showed you, Snowball Y, and cauliflower purple of Sicily. We're gonna try some spinach. This is from Hudson Valley Seeds. I love their seed packets, they're so beautiful. So gonna try this one, as well as some baby bok choy, which is lovely. Things don't tend to bother that in the garden either too much. And then 2 types of onions. Actually, I have a third one, a red bunching onion, but that I don't have the seed packet with me right here. But we're gonna do a Texas Early Grano and a Flat of Italy. So I really, really want to have some better success with onions. I grow garlic very well, so I feel like I should be able to do onions. So gonna start those. Next week, so week 32 is only 2 seeds. No, 3 seeds. 3 types of seeds. Another broccoli. This one is DiCiccio. And even though I already have one of these out there and we've been picking on it, this is another Georgia collards. I want to grow a whole lot of these because it's really yummy when we do barbecue. And then more rainbow chard. I already have some of this in the greenhouse. It's just too small to put out yet. Okay, now week 33. There's a few more here. Another broccoli. This is purple sprouting broccoli. And I've heard great things about this. I have not done it. Made it before, tried to grow it before. Apparently it takes longer, but it is more prolific and much tastier. And then an all-stars mix of kale. And then the first in a succession of carrots. I'm basically gonna sow carrots every week so that I have a whole succession of them if they survive. Okay, so this first one is Black Nebula. And then also in that week, week 33, I'm gonna do a fall selection of peas. I've never grown peas in the fall. I think it's gonna work really well for me because my problem usually in the spring, so I have here Royal Snap and Lincoln pea. These seeds are old, but they germinate just fine. What's been my problem in the past when I grow them in the spring is that it's generally still pretty chilly, so they take longer to germinate. There's not as much sun still. And then the birds, because they're hungry and it's spring, just destroy them as they come out of the ground. So I'm gonna see how it works for fall. We love peas and we can eat them fresh and I can also freeze a lot of them. So yeah, I'm hoping that will work out well for us. First time for everything. Okay, so carrots for the next week, week 34. We've got 2 varieties here. This one is Danvers 126 and St. Valerie. And then also in that week, we're gonna start the beets. So I have 2 varieties, Early Wonder and Golden Beets. And again, these I have sown in the spring before and just had no luck. So I'm gonna try this again and see what happens. A lot of these things, the carrots, the beets, I think I have turnips in here, the brassicas, all of them pretty much can overwinter and I can still be harvesting during the winter. So this does not mean that I'm gonna plan to harvest everything in October, November, December, and then that's it. I can continue to harvest a lot of these, but because I get so little sun out there, I think that will have a major impact. So as some of these I harvest some of these, I'll replace them with mustard because that will grow even in low light conditions. And that's a biofumigant in the soil and it will keep something living in the soil all through the winter time. I also have the pink green stalk that's on the side of the house that has had peppers and some other stuff in it this year. I can put brassicas and carrots in that green stalk and it will stay a little bit warmer and it'll get way more sun. So I might have some success there. Plus completely different. It doesn't have the same kind of rodent pest pressure as we do out in the garden in the in-ground beds. Okay, week 35. So more beets. I have 2 golden beets that we're gonna be doing. Oh, I love golden beets. I think I like them better than the red ones. We have two varieties here. We have Touchstone Gold and Golden Boy. And then I'm going to do another succession of Brussels sprouts, Long Island improved, and then more cabbages. So we've got Brunswick and Tete Noir. And then kale, dazzling blue kale, and St. Valerie carrots. Like I said, I've got, there'll be one birdie's bed that's gonna be carrots, and I'll basically be sowing a row every week. All right, week 36. Now this is a big week. For vegetables, somewhat, but this is the week that I sow all of the flower seeds that are going out at the farm. So week 36 is gonna be busy. Really hope it's not 100 degrees that week. That is usually the beginning of September. Okay, so for week 36, we've got tatsoi and a lot of these. I'm going to be sowing, this is all the mustards. I'm going to sow a ton of these. This is a Japanese red giant. And this year I had two of those out there that I didn't sow from seed. I actually bought them at the nursery and they got to be like 7 feet tall. Huge, very prolific. And when the leaves are young, they're very tasty, very spicy, but very good. And then another giant red mustard and a Florida broadleaf. And this one I think is not, oh, it is frost tolerant. So yeah, it'll work. I'm growing these somewhat for eating, but also for, like I said, to have things living in the soil that I know other things like insects and rodents won't eat. And then the carrots that I'm sowing that week are Pusa Aceta Black and Lila Lusong. And then turnips, Market Express. I love the look of these. I really, really want them to work. I tried last year and that was, you know, when we had everything got eaten, it was just miserable. Okay, so moving on, week 37, we've got this really cool round black Spanish radish. Never eaten it before. It's a specialty seed. There's a lot, and then there's all kinds of really good information in here on this one. I'm super stoked about this one. Kohlrabi, starting this guy. This is Blar Speck. And then some yummy lettuces, Radicchio, Belgian endive, and then 2 varieties of Little Gem. Also, the carrot for that week, Kaleidoscope carrots from Hudson Valley Seeds. All right, and then we just have 2 weeks left. Week 38, which is just radishes, Easter basket mix, and petit déjeuner. And then week 41, which is also just radishes. It's the Easter egg blend. So those are all the seeds I'm going to sow for the vegetable garden over the next couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to it. Seed sowing is always very enjoyable. But I am going to wait and do this week's seeds until after this heat wave. It's only supposed to last today. Probably still be hot tomorrow, but not in the upper 90s, close to 100. It'll be a lot more pleasant in the greenhouse. But one nice thing about this heat is when the greenhouse is warm, the seeds germinate pretty quickly, depending on the seed. So make sure you read your seed packets. Some seeds, just like some seeds need light to germinate, some seeds need a specific soil temperature to germinate. Obviously the carrots I will be direct sowing. I probably will direct sow the radishes as well, but those are later. Even though some of the others don't really like root disturbance, I want a really beefy start to go out in the garden since we have so much pest pressure out there. I've noticed that the rodents are really chowing down on the leaves for the winter squash, which is so funny to me. So I did harvest a handful of winter squashes today. They were ready. But there's still more out there and there's more even starting. They're only, you know, this big. And so I'm hoping, because it's only first week of August, I'm hoping that over the next, 4 to 6 weeks, we'll continue to get more winter squashes out of that garden. There's certainly plenty of vegetative material and it all looks really healthy and they're still flowering. So fingers crossed. And there's still pumpkins out there and stuff that I'm not going to harvest until I need to. The ones I harvested today, I did because I was afraid that they were going to start getting predated upon. And I would actually like to eat these and not not set them aside just for decoration because they've been munched on by a rat. So that's the goal. And I have to start doing that religiously with the tomatoes too. The other night we were sitting at dinner and I looked out on the back patio, and in the wine barrel where I have 3 different tomato varieties, there was a beautiful Ace 55 tomato that was about this big, and it was real close. It was going to be perfect for harvesting the next day. And I thought, well, I'll make sure I get that in the morning. Next morning I woke up, it was gone, completely gone. Not just a little bit eaten, just gone. So I cannot let my tomatoes even get, beyond first blush. They have to come off the plant right away, because other folks out there, squirrels, rats, rabbits, they want to eat them too. All right, that's going to be it for me today, you guys. I know it was a short video, but I appreciate you joining me. I hope you guys have a wonderful time in your garden. Please let me know below if you're going to be growing a fall or a winter garden and what you're planning to start. I really, really want to have success this year. Pretty soon, probably late August. I'm hoping all the construction will be done at our house and that we can get rid of this storage unit, and then I can get a delivery of compost, because I really want to add compost to the front garden. I still have compost in the backyard that we made that I need to sift and I can use up front, but I really want to get a really good layer of fresh compost down, because everything we grew this summer is heavy feeder, and I want to get this fall garden off to a really good start. Yeah, let me know what you're going to be growing. I'd love to hear about it. Thanks again for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.